Welcome back to Product Placement Spotlight, brought to you by the channel Hey Buy This. This week we're taking a look at the island, which was so full of product placement we had to break it into two parts. This is part one, of course, which has slightly less, as always, the timestamps and the logos that appear at those times. We start off with a pretty obvious Puma advertisement in the form of all of the main character's shoes, with a predominant display during the first introduction of his room, I guess. Followed immediately by an oh-so-subtle Aquafina product placement in the form of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I think, bottles of Aquafina. Next we have an extremely quick shot of these Cycle Ops stationary bikes. As always, it's up for debate whether this is actually product placement since it was so fast. Continuing the opening sequence, we have this Speedo product placement, which is pretty obvious, as well as this Apple product placement, which we see in these several shots of, what are these? Macs? Of these Macs being used for science? Yeah, science. That should have been their first clue something was off. Anyway, I included this Aces and Spades scene before doing the research. Afterwards, I figured out that it seems to be made up for the film. If anybody knows that it does exist somewhere in Tucson, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll let everyone take a wild guess which brand paid for this next scene. If you guessed Xbox, duh. It's pretty lengthy, and it would have been a lot of work for me to go in and actually cut out the few milliseconds that don't have some sort of Xbox logo either directly in the background or reflected in some sort of shiny surface. So I just kind of left the whole thing in, and I think that watching the whole scene without sound or the context of the rest of the film really shows how much the brand is displayed in the scene. After a friendly game of kick-ass, our two main characters head over to the bar for some delicious cocktails, and oh, look, another bottle of Aquafina right there, in case you could find it. Anyway, this next highlight is debatable. The icon is pretty blurry, however, during the shot, it's pretty recognizable that it's an HP logo on the front of this monitor, as well as in a few of the following scenes in the background, and also very much in the foreground right here. So at the actual bar that seems to be made up for the film, we get this intro shot that showcases a Chevy switching directly to a Budweiser and RC and Lakers, and oh my god, how much other stuff can you fit in one shot? I'm not even gonna try. Some of these seem to be just decorations for authenticity, so we'll leave it at that. As soon as we hit the bar, we see a bottle of Jack Daniels. Not complaining, I love Jack Daniels, but it's also pretty obvious that it's product placement, especially during a scene where the bartender mentions it by name instead of just saying whiskey. In the bathroom of the bar, we see a co-star opening up a Popular Mechanics magazine, which happens to have a Sprint and Samsung logo on the back cover. It doesn't seem like it would have been too much trouble to cover those up if they weren't paid for. Another shot of the Chevy, and another tail shot of the Chevy, and enter the extremely long Budweiser background dialogue scene, which stretches out pretty far, as you can see in many angles, which unnecessarily, if unpaid for, feature the Budweiser logo in the background over that lamp. Next we have an extremely easy to miss Bose headset. The mercenaries always use Bose headsets in the helicopters, if you watch for it. And finally, the last product in part one seems to be an American Express preferred card. Now, they never actually show it directly in this scene, so your guess is as good as mine. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree. Oh yeah, wait, no, there's still two more. So they use an HP computer to track our main characters, and our main characters end up at this Yucca Amtrak station, which doesn't forget to let you know where they are. So for part 1, the only thing I'm going to go ahead and mark out is aces and spades. I believe that's me made up. If you disagree, let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you liked it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. And part 2 is coming soon.